When it comes to survival in the harsh Arabian desert, slow and steady wins the race. But at this track,
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good morning, everyone. I am Hafiz Rahman, and I will be with you throughout this workshop as your host. On behalf of Kulliyyah of Education Postgraduate Students Association, which is known as KEPSA, I warmly welcome all of you to today's 3-minute thesis training workshop. Dear participants, KEPSA is committed to organizing meaningful workshops and academic sessions for the benefit of all PG students. This workshop is part of that ongoing effort to support your academic and research journey. We are also planning to organize a 3-minute thesis competition next month, inshallah, and the official announcement will be shared very soon. So today's session is especially designed to help you prepare and build confidence for that competition. So before we begin, let us start this blessed gathering with the remembrance of Allah. And for that, I would like to invite Brother Najib to recite the opening dua. Brother Najib.
Alaikum. Thank you, Brother Hafiz. Before we start our program today, let's make a dua. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Astaghfirullah al-Azim. Astaghfirullah al-Azim. Astaghfirullah al-Azim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Hamdan shakirin. Hamdan na'amin. Hamdan yu'afi ni'amahu wa yukafi mazidah. يا ربنا لك الحمد كما ينبغي لوجهك الكريم وعظيم سلطانك اللهم إنا نسألك سلامة في الدين وعافية في الجسد وزيادة في العلم وبركة في الرزق وتوبة قبل الموت ورحمة عند الموت ومغفرة بعد الموت اللهم هون علينا في سكرات الموت والنجاة من النار والعفو عن الحساب اللهم انفعنا بما علمتنا وعلمنا ما ينفعنا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Jazakallahu khairan. Thank you, Brother Najib, for your beautiful recitation. So Alhamdulillah, we now move to the main segment of our workshop and the 3-minute thesis competition. This 3-minute thesis is actually a unique platform where researchers present their work in just 3 minutes in a clear, concise, and engaging way. It is not only about research, but also about communication, confidence, and impact. So it is now my great pleasure to introduce our trainer for today, Brother Muhammad Nabiqul Hakim bin Azuar. He is a PhD candidate in Ahmad Ibrahim Kulliyyah of Law, International Islamic University, Malaysia. He is also the champion of the previous university level 3-minute thesis competition, which was held last year, which reflects his excellence in research communication. Furthermore, he gained national recognition after emerging as the first runner-up in the final round of the 3-minute thesis national level competition 2025. This prestigious competition was held on 19 June 2025 at UPM, University Putra, Malaysia, where outstanding postgraduate researchers from across the country participated. Inshallah, today he will share valuable insights, practical techniques, and strategies to help all of us improve our 3-minute thesis presentations. So without taking much more time, I would like to invite Brother Nabiqul to take over the session. Brother Nabiqul, the floor is yours.
All right. Thank you so much, Brother Hafizur Rahman. Can you hear my voice?
Yes, it is
it clear? Okay, all right. Thank you. All right. So, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, I would like to extend my appreciation and thank you. Right, thank you so much to the Kulliyyah of Education Postgraduate Student Association, or KEPSA, for inviting me, for extending the invitation to me to share with you my experience and maybe to conduct the workshop for 3-minute thesis competition. Alhamdulillah, thank you so much. Even IIKOL haven't invited me yet. All right. And then another one is that I would like to wish all of you also Selamat Hari Raya Eid Mubarak. Okay, hopefully you have a joyous celebration for the Eid, inshallah. All right. So without further ado, maybe we can also start. Let me project the screen. Okay. So thank you so much. Thank you, Brother Hafiz, for sharing about my biography just now. Okay, let me project it. Is it clear already?
I see.
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay, the slide is full screen, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, so the presentation, the workshop today is on 3-minute thesis competition, 3-minute thesis workshop. And I state here 3-minute thesis is a remarkable PhD milestone. Okay, why I state that it is a remarkable PhD milestone? Because it's indeed remarkable. Okay, why? Because even if you're not winning, okay, because from the very start, okay, actually, if I would tell you, last year was my second time of joining 3-minute thesis competition. Okay, my first time was in 2024, my very first year of doing PhD. So actually the initial reason was not that I was actually intentionally joining, but rather my kuliah have no other participants. So I was like, okay, my kuliah put my name, okay, you should go for 3-minute thesis competition. So I was like, oh, okay, what is it? So my first time was in 2024. Okay, but then actually in 2024, I haven't win anything. Okay, even I lose it at the preliminary round. Okay, so if you are entering 3-minute thesis competition soon, inshallah this year, and I would hoping you to join also, there would be several rounds. Okay, one is of course your kuliah round, and then if you're qualified, you are going to qualify for the university round. In the university level, there will be 2 main rounds. One is the preliminary rounds, and then the final rounds. All right. So if you didn't if you didn't pass at the preliminary round, of course you won't be proceeding to the final round. So in my very first time joining in 2024, I lose it at the preliminary round. And I still remember the reason why I lose is predominantly because of my time. Okay, because 3-minute thesis is very strict about the time. It's about 3 minutes. Okay, so if you exceed even 0.01 millisecond, okay, you would be disqualified at the very first instant. So my first presentation, because I didn't know well the rule because it's my first time. So my presentation was like 3 minutes, 10 seconds. So that's a very, extra times. Okay, you have presented. So I was disqualified at the first round. But then I lesson learned for the second time I have joined in 2025. Okay, last year. All right. So last year is my second time of joining. So I know the rules already. So I keep my presentation to 3 minutes and below. Okay, and Alhamdulillah at the I passed at the Kulliyyah round and then proceed to the university level. And then during the preliminary rounds, during the preliminary rounds, they would only allow top three from social science, because we have two categories, social science category and science category. So they will only allow top three from the social science category and top three from the science category to proceed to the final round. And and to be truthful and frank to you, I haven't been nominated for the top three last year. Okay, I haven't been nominated because there are other candidates who have been named for the top three at the preliminary round. But then, Alhamdulillah, I think my risk is there. My risk is there is that they did the initiative, the university did an initiative to name some wildcards. They call it as wildcards nominees. So those who have maybe some potential, they still qualify for the final round. So I was named in the wildcard category. So Alhamdulillah, it turns out later, for the final rounds last year, so my mindset is that, oh, I already in final round, maybe I can do my very best. Okay, I don't care whether I'm going to win the first one or the second one or what, but I just do the best. Alhamdulillah, last year I achieved the title champion for the university level, and thereafter I proceed to the national level. And then at the national level is very tough and competitive, to be honest. But then Alhamdulillah, I still get the opportunity to proceed to the final round, and Alhamdulillah, in the end I got the first runner up. Okay, just close enough to the champion, but no worries, it's all about risky. Okay, all right, so I'm shifting to the next slide. Okay, can you see my next slide?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Okay, about the workshop agenda. Okay, so these are basically the things that we are going to, we are going to have our conversation today. Okay, number one is what to include in your 3-minute thesis, presentation. Okay, there are certain rules. Okay, there are certain components. Not all parts of your thesis have to be consolidated, compiled in those 3-minute thesis. There are only significant part of your thesis going to be put forward in your 3-minute thesis competition. But yes, we are going to know, okay, what to include. Again, the next one is how to deliver. So basically, you have your script already. So the next step is to ensure that the execution is excellent. Okay, not only that you have a good script, okay, because 3-minute thesis competition, there are two main core criteria. So one is you have an excellent script, meaning to say your content is there. Okay, the idea of research is strong. The significance of the research is well presented. Number two is the core criteria. Number two is the way of how you execute, the execution, the delivery of the script that you have provided. Okay, so we are going to look into the second criteria also, like how to deliver the speech, the script that you have provided. And then number three. Sorry, that should be number three. Number three is that we are going to see some of the sample approaches. Okay, if we learn theoretically, you may not grasp what's the example. So I'm giving to you what are the examples that we can think of while we are preparing our script. Okay, So basically, when we talk about 3 minutes, is we should have these three ideas. One is the thesis, the research should be presented in 3 minutes, and then number two is you're gonna have a slide, a static slide at your back while you are presenting. Number two, and always remember that you are going to present at a non-specialist audience. Okay, so this is where I would say the point that have always been reiterated by the judges even at the national level. Because at the national level, as I have went last year, there are still some candidates who presented those legal jargons, those jargons which may not be familiar to the audience at large. Okay, so always remember that every words that you use in your speech must be a very simple words that could be tailored to non-specialist audience. You're not presenting, for example, you are from maybe most of you from Kulliyyah of Education. Okay, so maybe if you're presenting to those who having education background, then they might have idea. But then if you're presenting to non-education background, right? So they may not have the idea of what you are going to talk about. Okay. All right. So the next slide, you can see my next slide, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. So first of all, before we actually delve into the main content, how you do it, what is the component of the script, allow me to also explain to you what does it mean by 3MT, what is 3MT, because maybe some of you would be having the first time of joining this year, inshallah. So you should have the idea of what is 3MT is all about. So basically, 3MT is an academic competition for PhD students. So PhD students, maybe we don't have a lot of avenues, all right, especially when it comes to competition. So our competition is very research driven. Okay, so one of the competition is 3-minute thesis competition. So it's a platform for PhD researcher to present their thesis at the public at large. Okay, and in a way, I'm promoting to you to join 3-minute thesis competition. Because why? Because it's not about winning or losing. Okay, even if I lose in 2024, I haven't proceeded at the national final round, national and whatnot, I still have the benefit retained to me, alhamdulillah. So one of the huge benefit is that I'm able to know my research clear, and I'm able to also explain to others, all right, what is my research is all about. And then that is very, very important skill for you, because as we may have known, in PhD, we have Viva, we have proposal defense and whatnot. So those involve presentation and communication skill. So in order to help you, all right, towards that, okay, so that you're not culture shock during the Viva later on and whatnot, if you're joining 3-minute thesis competition, it helps you along the way, okay, in a way that it helps you to know, okay, what are the important parts of your thesis, what the audience wants to know, okay, and then what are the parts of the thesis that you need to emphasize. So those are the things that would help you if you are joining 3-minute thesis, okay. And then number two, okay, so I'm always hoping that all of you could join in the next 3-minute thesis 2026, inshallah. Okay, the challenges for me is that, okay, I make it in red. Okay, one is the ability to systematically compile the important parts into 3 minutes. Okay, and then this of course number one. I put it number one because it's very hard. Okay, although it might sound, 3-minute thesis is only just presenting your thesis in 3 minutes. Okay, it's not even like 1 hour. Okay, it's just 3 minutes. So it might sound, you might perceive it as easy, but actually when you are joining later on, it's not as easy as ABC, all right? Because why? Because you are going to have some time, okay? You are going to spend some time to actually pick and choose, all right, from your thesis, okay, from your research, which one is the important part? Which one I should make an emphasis, or which one should I put forward in my presentation? And it's quite difficult for me because I spent a lot of time refining my scripts again and again. And in fact, for your information, even if after the university level, okay, last year after I've won at the university level, before I proceed to the national level, my script, my original script, has undergone a lot of changes. Okay, so the script I have presented at the national round is not the similar script I have presented at the university level. So it's a very continuous process. Okay, even if after you have prepared your script, you might have to relook to it again. Okay, you have to refine. Okay, which one do you think is not important? Which one is unnecessary? Which one is important? Okay, so those are the challenges. Number two is confidence in presenting. Okay, so this, generally speaking, I know already, this is like a common problem. Okay, when we are presenting, of course, it's normal. Even me myself, okay, even me myself, I always, I mean, when we want to have a talk, okay, or speak in front of the public, we always have this so-called stage fright, right? Okay, I mean, it's normal. It's totally normal. Totally, I mean, you don't have to be scared about, because it's totally normal. In fact, if you went to the national level, I mean, last year I went to national level, held in UPM last year. So I've watched some of the candidates, some of the presenters, even those who win, because at the national level is those who have won at their university level. So you're going to meet winners from other university as well. Even them, okay, they also have this stage fright problem. So I can see like some of the presenter having their hands shaky, right? I can see some of the presenters somehow at some points of their presentation, they blank it out. Okay, that happened even at the national level. So we don't have to be scared of it, because it's a common problem for all people. Okay, but then what makes us different is that how we confront, all right, to our weaknesses. Okay, we know that we are quite nervous. We know that we are having stage fright. But then what is our solution, right, to confront with that problem? Okay, for me also, sometimes I have stage fright. Okay, sometimes I was like, am my presentation good enough or not? Or what if we always have those what if, right? Okay, what if I will be blank. I will be blank during the presentation. So those are the things you don't want. But then the main issue actually is the way of how you confront to it. Okay, for me, I confronting with that by having substantial practices. Okay, so I practice a lot of time. Okay, that is the things that we're going to talk later. Okay, so number three, if you look here, why joining? Okay, number one, it's refining the research, refining the sharpness and clarity of the research. So these are the skills that you will be obtaining even you're not winning. So in 2024, I was not winning, but then I was able to get these takeaways. Okay, I was able to know, okay, these are the things that might be necessary to put into my research, but these are not necessary to be put in my research. Okay, because while you are working into compiling your research in 3 minutes, you would know, trust me, you would know what are the most important things to put into, and then what are the unnecessary things that you have to discard from your thesis writing. Okay, so it's always about refining the sharpness and clarity of the research. You know already your target, you know already the direction, and you know already the way forward. Okay, number two is it instill confidence and develop communication skill. And this is like another one important skill or significant skills that I have obtained from joining the competition, right? and not necessarily from winning the competition. Even by joining, participating already is sufficient already to have you these skills. Okay, now it's about confidence and communication skill. Okay, because why? Because if you're talking about PhD, we cannot run from communicating our research. In fact, our examination, so-called examination, is done orally, right? Okay, because we don't have paper writing or whatnot. We just have Viva. So Viva, it is the time where you have to present your research, and the panelists during the Viva may not be directly relevant. They may be relevant, but then they're not 100% related to your current studies. So you might have to explain your research to them. Okay, so these are another skills that I've obtained, Alhamdulillah, while joining 3-minute thesis competition. Because why? Because you know already what to explain, and you know already from the point of view of the audience what they want to know. Okay, and number 3 is a bonus, having your research acknowledged and recognized. Okay, so we as a researcher, we should aim that our study is for the benefit of the public at large. As a Muslim, we should target that our research is for the benefit of the Ummah at large. Okay, so joining 3-minute thesis competition, you are able to disseminate your research in front of the public so that the public would know, okay, these are the things that you are working on. So you got recognition, and in fact, you got the networking. Okay, while you are joining 3-minute thesis, okay, another benefits that I've gained is that I've gained networking. So even at the university level, you're gonna meet other PhD researcher. So I've met a lot of participants from Kulliyyah of Education, from IIKHS. Okay, so I've met PhD candidates from other kuliahs. And then while we're having our conversation during the competition, so I was able to have some exchange. Okay, what are their methodologies? All right, what are their research approach? So these are going to benefit you later on, because I'm from law. All right, so law have their own research methodology, but we are still social science. So if I converse with social science students, they may have some unique approaches with their research. So those are the things that you want to know, because being a PhD researcher, okay, inshallah, all of you, okay, you have to always be curious. Okay, maybe your method in terms of methodology, whether you have correct methodology or not, or whether there are certain ways of how to enhance the methodology. So those are the things that you may gain during 3-minute thesis competition. Okay, number 4 is what is needed. Okay, what is needed? Number 1 is of course script. Number 2 is static slide presentation. Sounds easy, right? Sounds is like, oh, okay, I can do this in 1 minute, in maybe half an hour. It's just a script, 3 minutes, and it's just a static slide presentation. But there are other things that you need to work on. Okay. All right. So I'm shifting to next slide. Okay. All right. So far so good. All right. Okay. The next one is okay. Before we actually go in the depth of our discussion, I'm going to invite all of you to put ourselves in the shoe of the audience. So you imagine you are the audience, okay? Because we don't want to be in Malay we call it as short sendiri lah. It's like you are not going to be presenting. Presenting without knowing whether your audience understand or not. Okay, you're going to put yourself at the very first instance in the shoe of the audience. Okay, think of yourself, you are the audience. What the audience want to know. Okay, if the audience is listening to your presentation, what are their expectations? Okay, so if you read here, I stated like the format is simple. The challenge is making it memorable. So these are the biggest challenge, right? In fact, I've experienced in the past. Okay, because So that's why I said even my script have already constantly changes even after university level, before national level. Okay, so because why? Because it's always a challenge how to make it memorable. Okay, so if you are the audience, so imagine now you're not going to sit in the present. I mean, you're not going to stand as the presenter, but rather you are going to sit as the audience. So if you are sitting as the audience, what are the things that you want to know? Okay, number one, okay, what the audience see. One, your research is explained for people outside your field. Okay, this is the things which kept being repeated by judges. In fact, in the national round, okay, I've seen some of the judges reminded, okay, you cannot explain your research in very technical terms. Okay, for me, for me from law, there are some legal terms. So I have the difficulty to changing it into layman terms. Okay, so you need to ensure that every words you have chosen, the audience is able to understand. And note, you will have a diverse audience. Okay? Because why? Because the audience are not from your field per se. Okay, if you are from education, you're not presenting to education background. Same goes to me. I'm not going to present those people who have a law background. So, in fact, during the university round, during the national level round, okay, the audience are diverse. They have professors from sciences, they have professors from other faculties as well. And in fact, apart from professors, they are public, right, members of the public who have never do a PhD before. So they don't know if you're talking about methodology and all that. Okay, so those are the things we need to tone down. Okay, number two is 3-minute spoken presentation. Okay, with one static slide. Okay, your slide, ensure your slide is not moving. I mean, it's a rule where you cannot have moving slides. You cannot have music or whatever. It's just you presenting and a very static slide. Okay, but what need to be put in your presentation, what need to be put in your slide? Okay, those are the things we're going to talk today. Number three is story about significance. Okay, these are somehow or other the things I always repeat throughout my presentation. Okay, because the public want to know what is your research and then why is it important. Okay, so the importance is the one that you have to highlight. You're not going to merely highlight, okay, these are my research, my methodology is this, and then my finding is this, but without relating it to the members of the public. Because why in 3-minute thesis competition, you need to buy in the public. You need to buy in the audience. So how do you buy in the audience? Is that you are reminding to them, my research is important. Okay, because it's going to give you the impact. Okay, these are the impacts. If my research is not done, if my research is done, these are the things that you're going to change you. So that you need to invite, you need to buy in the audience, right? Buy in the hearts of the audience to your research. Then is a good presentation. Okay, number four, a final impactful line the audience can remember. Another tips. Okay, the red one is always the tips. Okay, tips, think of something that they can take away, something that are memorable. Okay, because again, the challenge is you need to think of something memorable. Okay, remember, our presentation is not monotonous. Our presentation must be colorful enough. So if people see the colors, so people might be remembering. Can, all right. So think of an impactful line or impactful visualization, impactful stuff that they could remember even after your presentation. Okay. And for me, later on, I will show you. For me, my tips, personal tips. Okay, for me, my tips is that, okay, my research is a bit low. Okay, my research is about reforming our existing laws. Okay, we have our laws. Okay, and then specifically my research is on solar laws. Okay, laws relating to solar. Okay, if you're seen on top of your roof, you have solar. Okay, some of the roofs install solar. Okay, so my research is about laws pertaining to that, and I'm going to reform that laws so that the development is sustainable, the development is okay and whatnot. Because the problem is that in my research, I have identified that there are certain developments, solar developments, we are talking about large scale. We are talking about a big one. Okay, conducted several acres of areas, acres of land. Okay, they are not preserving environment. For example, in I've identified not preserving environment lah, meaning to say they have some clashes, right? Potential clashes with environment. Okay, for example, let's say on the lake, you want to install solars. Okay, but then you need to investigate whether the lake is environmental sensitive areas or not. So my thesis is about trying to balance between you want to have a green technology by way of solar, but then at the same time the need to preserve the sustainability, the need to preserve the environment and all that. So my thesis, my line of argument is about you can have the development, but the development of solar, the development of renewable energy must always be balanced with environmental concerns and all that. So if you listen to my brief presentation of my research, is very technical, right? So I'm thinking of like how we gonna make it digest for the audience at large, right? For the public. So my coaches at the university level, Dr. Pam and Dr. Azura, they give me one tips. Okay, why not you search for one theme, one underlying theme. Okay, because why? Because winning presentation for 3MT, they always have underlying theme. Okay, you pick one theme. Okay, you can choose like Avengers theme or whatnot to make people attracted to your presentation. So what do you think? the theme that I have picked is like mind blown because I haven't think of. I was like, oh, okay, it's just random. It's a random idea I got while thinking of lah. You know, I picked Teletubbies theme. Right? Have you watched Teletubbies before? Maybe during the childhood, right? So I picked Teletubbies theme, right? Out of those other teams, Avengers, Power Rangers, and all that, I picked Teletubbies theme because why? Because I think that it's more related to our childhood. And then in Teletubbies, there is like sun, right? Sun. Okay, so I just want to highlight from the sun. And then bridge it with my research. Later on, I will tell you like how I did it. Okay, so in fact, it's very Alhamdulillah is my strategy is working because why? Because in fact, the judges after that they told me, oh, this one who presented about Teletubbies just now. So it's like very memorable. Those are the things that the tips that you need to figure out what are the creative way so that the judges, the audience, after your presentation, they can know, oh, this is you. This is you, the man who presented about Teletubbies just now. Oh, this is you who presented about this is this. Okay? And then the last one is presentation that grab attention. As I said, make it interesting, make it relatable, okay? And then make it engaging with the audience. Okay. And then okay, engaging with the audience also another tip. Okay, while you are presenting, always insert this engagement with audience. Okay, for example, you pose a question. Okay, and let's say you ask, any one of you, okay, or while raising your hand, any one of you have experience, right? See, 1, 2, 3. So those are the things that engaging the public, engaging the audience. Okay. So 3 minutes, okay, if you have 80,000 word thesis, it might consume 9 hours. But 3 minutes, the challenge is turning that into 3 minutes. And then, okay, these are the things that we have talked about. Okay, I capitalize this sentence. Overtime can mean disqualification. Okay, it's a total no-no. Okay, remember always, if you didn't meet 3 minutes, it's okay. Okay, if you finish your presentation at 2 minutes 50 seconds, below 3 minutes, it's still okay. Okay, let's say even if you finish your presentation at 2 minutes, it's already okay, but it's not going to be, I mean, the judges would have comments because you need to be very balanced. Okay, even if you stop at, okay, normally for me, I stop at 2 minutes 50 seconds for me. In fact, at the national level, I also applied the same tips. Because why? Because I'm going to have like 10 seconds buffer time. Okay. If let's say I have some gaps or whatnot, so that 10 minutes buffer time would save me. Okay. So overtime can mean disqualification. And again, as I stated earlier, okay, the reason why I lose in my first time of joining 3-minute thesis competition in 2024 is that simply because my participation has been disqualified on the ground of time. Okay, I still remember, presented about 3 minutes, 10 seconds. Even if you say, only 10 seconds, no. All right, even 0.001 milliseconds, you are already disqualified. Okay, and sure, it's either 3 minutes on the dot or below. But then my advice is that at least 2 minutes, 55 seconds or 58 seconds is already fine. Okay. All right. Okay. Just now we sit ourselves in the shoe of the audience, right? And then now we are going to shift our point of view from being in the shoe of the audience, from the shoe of the judges. Okay, so those are the things that I'm emphasizing first. Before we are talking about viewing ourselves as a presenter, I would like to invite to you as viewing yourself as the audience and the judges first, because I think it's much more effective to know, okay, what are their expectations first. Okay, then after this, we talk about the things that you shall have in the point of view of the presenter. Okay, so now we sit ourselves as the judges. Okay, you imagine yourself, you're on the panel judges trying to judge the 3-minute thesis participants. Okay, so what are the things that you are looking into? What are the criteria that you are looking into? Okay, and if you read here, I stated, use the rubric to decide what deserves precious second. Okay, the scoring marks should guide you what you need to emphasize, what you need to put into in your presentation. Those who are not relevant, which are not relevant, which are irrelevant, unnecessary, you carve it out. Carve it out at the very first instance. Because why? Because the judges only reward to those in the scoring rubrics. Okay, so those who are not in the scoring rubric, please carve it out. Okay, because we don't want to waste our time. Because we only have 3 minutes. If we have 30 minutes, then you can include all that. We only have 3 minutes. So use those 3 minutes to only explain about the precious items. Okay, what are the precious items? We're going to see the rubrics after this. Okay, as I said, there are two main criteria in 3-minute thesis competition. One is about comprehension and content. So your content is number one. Even if you have good presentation, okay, even if you have a very good oratory skill, okay, the judges still would see whether you have content or not, whether you explain the research effectively or not, whether you explain the methodology, whether you explain the problem statement, everything in your script or not. Okay, so 3 minutes is not only about presentation, it's also about content of the presentation, that you make it effective. Okay, number one is, if you're talking about comprehension and content, whether you understand your topic, and not only you, whether the public can understand your topic, and then what is the content of your research. Okay, and then the next one is what you did and what you found. Okay, so what you did and what you found, meaning to say you have to explain the methodology. Okay, these are the approach, your approach to the research, and then these are the key findings. Okay, well, if you ask me, brother, whether we need to explain every methodology, because I have mixed methodology, and whether we have to explain every findings that we have in our research, my answer is no. Okay, you just pick and choose, because 3 minutes is the skill of picking and choosing. Pick and choose which one is the most salient, most prominent one from your research for you, that you think that, okay, this is going to be effective and this is going to be very helpful, to be explained later. Okay, if you're explaining all, the public may have their minds puzzled. Okay, they don't know what you're explaining, can? Okay. Okay, number 3 is what changes because of the work. This is significance. You need to explain to the public about the significance. Okay, later on we're going to see the rubric. Okay, number 2, core criteria number 2 is engagement and communication. You have your content already, but the next thing is you need to work out, okay, how do you want to make this presentation interesting? Okay, so for me, if you ask me, brother, whether we need to put jokes, whether we need to put funny parts in our presentation, my answer is not necessarily. Okay, because interesting is subjective, right? If you say something is interesting, how do you define interesting in the very first place? Maybe interesting, if you watch dramas, sad dramas, you'd say, oh, this drama is interesting, not because it's funny, but it's because it's impactful, right? So interesting can be in many ways. Maybe for some people, they inserted jokes in their presentation. That's fine. Some person they have emotionally driven presentation. So the presentation, you might cry out after hearing the presentation. Okay, some person may have a motivational, inspirational kind of way of how to present. Okay, so you might be inspired after you listen to the presentation. So, but think of some ways that you are comfortable with. Okay, for me personally, if you ask me, I'm not a I'm not a funny person lah, and I don't know how to make jokes. If I make jokes, maybe I'm the only one who laugh. Alright, so in Malay we call it hamba, lawak hamba. Okay, so it's a joke where you are the only one who understand or you are the only one who laugh. Okay, so that is if I'm making a joke. Okay, because jokes, if you want to put jokes, you need to ensure that the jokes is funny. But you don't want to risk yourself of making so-called jokes, and then at the end of the day, the people was like, what are you talking? Okay, so think of some interesting style that you might put into your presentation. Okay, interactive slide that supports the story. Okay, number 2. Okay, engagement communication is also effective by your slide. And always remember, the slide is the only prop that you have. Okay, the only thing that going to visualize your presentation, because you only have yourself, but what visualize it, what helps you to visualize your presentation is your slide. Okay, so make use of your slide. And one of the common mistakes, if I were to share to you, common mistakes among the postgraduate students joining 3MT competition is that they prepare slide as if they are going to do a conference. conference presentation. That's a total no-no. Okay, I would show to you how my slide is at the national level last year. Okay, and in fact, at the national level, you also find some participants, they are presenting like conference. Okay, there are tables, there are diagrams, there are statistics, everything in the slides. Okay, you cannot. Okay, that's a total red flag. Because why? Because you cannot put, again, rule number one is that you cannot put all the technical terms, jargons and whatnot in your presentation as well as your slide. Okay. Number two is that if you put everything in your slide, let's say if you have findings in table, you have do a statistic, you have done a bar diagrams and whatnot, bar graphs or whatnot, you put all of that, jumble it all together in the slides, is going to be very risky for you. Why? Because this happens a lot of time when I see the presenters who prepare the slides as if like conference type of slides. The audience are going to spend time a lot looking at the slides, trying to understand. So we as a human, we cannot work our mind two in one. Okay. Unless we are girls lah. Girls is like multitasking. Okay. Tapi boys especially, macam when we are looking into the slide, we're trying to see the slide and then think of what does it mean? How do I understand it? And then while you're doing that, you are going to disregard the presenter is presenting. That's the risk. If you prepare your slides, very technical. Okay, so please avoid of committing that mistake. Okay, your slide should be very simple. Okay, later on I will show you the slides. And then number 4 is energy, confidence, and audience attention. So when we talk about energy, it's measured by a lot of ways. Okay, for me, I'm quite energetic if I were to present. And if you want to see my presentation, you can last year at the national level, you can actually go to UPM, Universiti Putra Malaysia Facebook, graduate schools, I think, graduate schools punya Facebook, and then you can scroll down to 3MT 2025. Okay, so during my presentation, I'm quite energetic. And again, how do you define energetic? Is you can define it in many ways. Energy can be defined through your posture. Okay, posture. If you are, if your posture is not upright, if your posture is like downright, then people might perceive that you are not confident enough. Okay, and another form of measurement of your energy is that your voice. Okay, and in fact, during the competition, your voice is also what drives the attention of the public. Okay, sometimes, okay, I've seen like one good presenter at the national level. Okay, they started with like boom. Oh, it was like wow. It's like something like wow. It's very loud. It's very energetic. Previously, the audience was like, oh, it's like boring already. It's like presenter number or something. But this presenter start with boom, right? So people were shocked. Okay, and then people were curious. So what this presenter is trying to talk about. So the presenter says, okay, today I want to present about nuclear. So it's like, wow, okay. Then that it grabs the attention. Okay, and then I see it here, the tips in red. Okay, so my tips is always be inserted in every slide. Okay, tips is find your style and enhance, because you cannot just copy and paste other person's style. Okay, this is one of the common mistakes also I would say. Okay, you have to find your own style. And in fact, if you go to the national level, there are diverse of styles. Okay, I've observed some participants, they have the style of stand-up comedian. Okay, so the way of how they present is like stand-up comedian style. Some of the participants was like very storytelling style. Okay, it's like a mother telling stories. Okay, some of the participant is like very motivational. Okay, so you somehow feel motivated after their talk. Okay, but then do not just simply emulate 100% from their style, because some you have your own style. Is the one you are the one who going to search it. What is your strength in presenting? Okay, maybe some person present it in a very sad tone, but makes use of it. For me, my style is that I know, okay, oh, my strength is that I don't know how to make jokes. But then my style is that if I am presenting, I have the ability to go upwards and downwards in my voice. Okay, sometimes my voice will be loud, sometimes my voice will be lower. Okay, so I use voice modulation technique. Later on, I'm going to teach you voice modulation. So find your appropriate style and make use of it. Okay, point it out. Okay, so that people know, oh, this is your strength. Okay. All right. Next slide would be the rubrics. As we just now, we just generally know what is the rubric, but then now we are going to see specifically what is the rubric. Okay, rubrics by the University of Queensland. Why University of Queensland? Because they are the one who developed, they are the one who initiated this whole competition, 3-minute thesis competition. So strictly speaking, we are following their styles, their rules, their way of marking and whatnot. Okay, so if you see the rubrics, okay, as we have discussed just now, they have two criteria: comprehension and content, engagement and communication. Okay, so if you see the rubrics, if we're talking about comprehension and content, presentation provide clear background and significance to the research question. So you should be able to start your presentation by giving out what is the problem, and then why does it important for us to do research, to do a study on this because of this problem. And then number two is that presentation provided clear positionality of the presenter to the research and the research approach. What is your main argument? What is your thesis statement? Thesis statement is just one sentence, one argument. What is your argument? One sentence of your argument, your contention. Okay. As I said in my thesis just now, for example, I'm doing solar law. So my argument is that solar development, if you want to develop solar, it must be it must consider other environmental aspects and other concerns as well. So that is my contention. You can do solar development, but provided you have to ensure that it complies with environmental aspects also. So that is my position. Okay. And then research approach. Number two is also research approach. Your methodology. What ways you are describing in order for you to achieve your research objective. Number three is presentation clearly describe the research strategy, research design, and the findings of the research. Okay. And again, I have to remind you, even if when you are talking about methodology, the methodology is something that is very technical. If you were a PhD student, then you might understand other PhD students talking about methodology. And then if I say remember, while talking about while presenting my research at the university level last year in Kuantan, because they had in Kuantan, I state the word, after conducting literature reviews, okay, and then the judge pointed it out during my comments. During the judge's comment, the judge pointed it out. You use the term literature review. Okay, for us, those who are doing PhD, we understand. But what if you're presenting to a public who didn't even pursue PhD? What do you think? Whether you use literature review, the word literature review, whether they would understand or not? Okay, So so the judges recommended to change. Instead of you're saying the term literature, I'm doing literature review, but you change it. All right, you are doing reading and analyzing the reading materials or whatever relevant. Okay, past research about the topic. Then use tone down it. Use a simple wording. And then the last one is presentation clearly describe the conclusion, outcome, impact of the research. Again, significance. The significance must be pointed it out again and again. Okay. And then if you see rubric number 2, engagement and communication, the oration means the way of how you deliver, was delivered clearly and the language was appropriate for non-specialist audience. Do not use jargons. Do not use, for example, if you're from education, maybe one of the term is pedagogy. Am I pronouncing it correctly? Pedagogy or pedagogy or something. I don't know. That's like very education term, right?
Yeah, pedagogy.
Pedagogy. Okay. So even I don't know what's the meaning. Okay. So if you're using pedagogy, for example, so you need to explain what does it mean by pedagogy in a very layman term. So because it's is a term that only education background know, but it's not a term which other feels familiar with. Okay, and then number 2, the PowerPoint slide was well defined and enhanced the presentation. Okay, do not use many words. Okay, if you're joining later on, please ensure your slides have minimal wordings and make sure it has much visual. Okay, some images, diagrams that could capture the attention of the public. And then the presenter conveyed enthusiasm for their research. This is where we're talking about energy just now. Okay, you are energetic about the research, passionate, right? The way of how they measure passionate is, of course, by many ways. The way of how you present, the way of how you persuade the public. Oh, this is very much important. Okay, this is why the study is needed. Okay, and maintain audience attention. Okay. All right. I'm changing to the next slide. Is it clear? Create key ingredients of 3MT presentation. Okay. Clear? Okay. Key ingredients of 3MT presentation. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Very good. Because I am afraid if while changing the slides because of technical problems, the slide is not moving. Okay. So we're now talking about key ingredients of 3MT presentation. Okay. So just now you know already what is the important things to, what is the rubrics? The judge would score based on this. Now you are going to strategize. Just now, okay. So you have sit in the point of view of the audience. And then after that, we have sit in the shoe of the judge, looking from the point of view of the judge. Now we are only moving to what you do from the point of view from the point of view of a presenter. As a presenter, what are the things you should do? Okay. So this I would say a disclaimer first lah. Okay, if you read here, disclaimer. There is no hard and fast rule. Meaning to say what? Meaning to say there is no fixed rule about how you strategize your presentation. Okay, this is merely my own personal tips, all right? But if you think that you have better ways of how to execute it, please do so, all right? Not necessarily sticking to my, to the storyline I've suggested. Okay, this is a mere guide. If your story works better with a result first opening, okay, please use it. Okay, but maybe because if you look here, you tell about the research gap, you tell about significant methodology, and then you explain about your results. Okay, meaning to say after you explain about the gaps, the research question, the problem, methodology, then you explain about the result. Okay, but sometimes for certain presenters, they think, oh, if I reserve result at the end, people will be boring already. So what if I stretch out the result up front? Okay, you present the result first. Okay, these are the implication if the world would use my research. For example, then people would be intrigued. Betul tak? Alright, people will be very curious. Oh, you ke? Alright. But the only caution is that keep the audience oriented. Okay, so this is the conventional way of conventional way of presentation. Not only me, other presenters at the national level also. Sorry, other presenter at the national level also doing the same thing. I rarely see. From my personal experience, I rarely seen presenters who present result first. Okay, because if you present result first, I mean, it's hard for you to keep the audience oriented because the audience already know the result, and then baru you want to explain about the methodology, explain about the objective and whatnot. So the audience thinking was haywire. Okay, is the challenge is how to make it streamlined. Okay, so that's why normally speaking, and in fact, a majority of the participants, they are using this conventional way. Okay, you open up with a hook and then research grab and the methodology and then result. Okay. Okay. So the storyline is 180 seconds. 180 seconds represent 3 minutes. All right. 3 minutes. Why I break down? Because I just want to break down, okay, what are the components that you can explain in the whole 3-minute thesis. All right. 3-minute presentation. Okay. Okay. So for me, if you see here, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 criteria. But if I were to divide it, it's just 3 phases. Okay, phases, 3 fasa. Okay, there are 3 important parts of your 3-minute thesis competition. Okay, one is number 1 and number 2. The hook and the research gap, and then the significance. Okay, number 2, the major part is the methodology and the key result. And then number 3 is here. Okay, the implication, the significance of the research, the benefits of the research. Okay, if I were to break down generally first. But now we break down more specifically. Okay, these are mere suggestions. You can use it. Okay, while I am practicing last year for national round, I really break it down. How many seconds I would present about this? How many seconds I would present about this? So now I'm telling you the tips. Okay, because you need to ensure that every second is well utilized. Okay, for 0 to 20 seconds, you open up with a hook. Okay, hook. So hook is like this. I just give you an analogy. The hook is where you want to grab the attention of the public at the very first instant. You can use you can think of any creative way. The keyword is creative. Okay, you can use creative way of how you going to grasp the audience. Okay, as I said just now, depends on the participant. Sometimes at the national level last year, I can see some of the participants start with boom, right? The presentation, the presenters walk at the middle of the stage, silent, and then people will say, what is it? And then somehow or other, boom. All right. So it's very shocking. All right. So that are the example of the hook. Maybe for me last year, my style of doing is that I walk in the middle of the stage and then silence, mini silent, and then suddenly, do you remember the baby sign from the Teletubbies? All right, so that is my first line of the hook. All right, I'm not even talking about the research yet. All right, but something that could grab the attention. All right, for me, I use the theme of Teletubbies because it's very random and then it's very cute and then it's very childhood related. So sometimes when people talks about Teletubbies, people will be wondering, okay, what is the relevance of Teletubbies here? Okay, so but that is just a mere analogy. Okay, so you can open up with problem, you can open up with image, you can open up with a question, okay, scenario or surprise or anything that you can think of very creatively, okay, that you think that very hook is very important. Okay, and then I would say that hook is, I would say, a very important part. Okay, out of all parts, I think the hook is also equally most important. Why? Because the moment you don't have the hook here, the moment you don't have the hook here, the moment you don't catch the attention here, the implication would be, regardless of whether you have a very good ending, very good middle here, points in the middle, people won't be having the attention to the presentation. Okay, people will be boring already. Okay, that's why from the very first instance, make sure you grab already. Okay, you're not going to leave it to the very last minute. You're not going to leave it to the very last second. So the principle, if you say saving best for the last is not applicable here. Okay, so we put our best first. Okay, so that's why the hook must be something wow. Okay, and then after you open up with hook, for example, for me, I say, do you remember a baby son from the Teletubbies? All right, every episode begins with the baby son. So I have those kind of voice pitching, so that people will be, oh, very cute. Okay, so and then after that, after you start with hook, already, you start with the problem. You talk about what problem. That is the background of your research, right? What are the problems that justify you to do this research? Okay, I do this research because of this problem. And then after that, we move into the major part. Okay, the problem is that you need to relate it with the society's problem. Okay, for me, my kind of problem is that I try, okay, because I'm talking about solar and then I'm talking about electricity and whatnot. Okay. And then my problem is that I'm trying to relate with the daily life. What if we don't have our lights open? All right. So those are the things you can think of. How do your research relate with the daily life of a normal lay person? And then the major part next is, okay, for minute 45, seconds, for 45 seconds to 90 seconds, 90 seconds to 125 seconds. Okay, explain your approach in your research. Okay, what are the things you do, okay, in order for you to figure out the way of how you research, okay, or the way of how you research your to achieve your research objective. Okay, the things that you have done. Okay, again, even if you are explaining about methodology, digest it in a very layman form. And then the key result, okay, what are the things that, key results that you obtain? Whether you need all results presented, not necessarily. As I said, only key. That's why I capitalize key result, only important result that relates back with the problem, that relates back with your objective. Okay, and then towards the end, okay, you need to also provide the implication of the research. Okay, you just that's why, because that's why in 3-minute thesis is important for you to show out, to showcase why your research is so significant for the public, so significant for the nation. All right, to be done. Okay, because why? Because if you don't have this research, the problem will still subsisting. Okay, if we have this research, the problem will be solved. All right, the issue will be solved. The society will be reformed into a better society and whatnot. And then towards the last minute, you have to land on one clear takeaway or closing line. Okay, this is what my analogy is that if you learn, I mean, if you watch any story plot or whatever, maybe sometimes you learn about if we are doing essays and whatnot, our essay would look like a hill, correct or not? Those are the things we learn in school lah. If we do essays, our our essay would be looking like a hill, starting and then there is climax and then there is a down here. Okay, but then that is not applicable in 3-minute thesis competition. No, it's like it's like climbing a mountain. You don't have downhill. Okay, you must land on a clear takeaway. Okay, something that is very impactful. Okay, that the public can take away from your presentation. And then remember also, there is no new information. Please do not insert new information at the very last ending. Because why? Because the ending should be something that you reinforce in a very non-repetitive manner. Whatever you have explained, you are going to paraphrase and highlight the significance, the implication of your research, why the findings would relate, findings from my research, would to what extent it would impact you. Okay, and if my research would be recognized, okay, these are going to be the benefits. Okay, so momentum of 3-minute thesis presentation. Okay, next slide. It's clear, right? Okay, so momentum of 3-minute thesis presentation. So as I say, it's not like a typical essay writing. Okay, if you learn it before, essay starts like a hill, right? But for 3-minute thesis presentation, it's not looking at it like a hill. It's like I don't know, it's like the hospital kind of thing. Okay. So why I do it like this, so that to give you the analogy. At the start, you need to, if you see here, it's very steep, right? At the start, it's very steep, all right? From bottom, it's very steep up to the upwards, okay? So it means that in your starting, you already have impactful start. Okay, people will be like, wow, why? Okay, so because why? Because again, hook is important. If you fail to hook the person, you're going to lose them anyway, and regardless of whether you have good middle point and the ending. Okay, and then in the middle, you need to have impactful takeaway, and the ending. If you see here, the ending is not low. The ending is still high. Okay, meaning to say, while doing the presentation, you ends up higher, right? Mean to say your conclusion must be something that is very impactful, that is very deep related to the public, so that the public would know. Okay, and then if you see here, speed or pace, not too fast but not too slow. Okay, this is my problem. My problem is that when I'm too nervous, I tend to speak very fast. Okay, I think that's common also, right? By many people, including me myself. But the way of how I confront is that I always remind, okay, please do not be too fast. Okay, just make it not too slow, just steady. Okay, and then another tips is that voice modulation. Okay, you need to integrate this voice modulation in your presentation. Voice modulation is judged from your pitch, whether you have low or high voice. Okay, as I said last time, okay, I mean during the introduction, my introduction, I talk about Teletubbies. My pitch is somehow very, I would say, very soft and sharp. It's like, do you watch Teletubbies? It's like that. It's like something cute. Right. So your voice would be diversified. Okay. Number two is in terms of volume. Okay. Sometimes you have high volume, loud volume. Okay. So maybe you say, my research proposes for me is like, I remember one line, from when I talk about the impact, or when I talk about what my research is my proposal from my research is that I higher up the voice. Okay, my research proposes reforms and amendments. So those are the things that you can use. And then tone. Okay, tone. Sometimes you are happy, sometimes you're serious, sometimes you're angry, sometimes sad, excited. Okay. I still remember in my presentation there are certain parts where I make it very emotional. So my way of tone is like very sad. Okay? How do you respond to those cries? For example, okay, it's like very sad tone. I still remember one comment. Okay, normally people will advise you to keep on smiling. Okay, because why smile seems like you are confident, but for me, smile accordingly. Because why? Because last time I smiled all the way from the very beginning to the end. Even the start part also smile. And then the judges will commented, okay, brother, I see you smiling even you're talking about the sad part. Okay, so this is not appropriate. So you know how to adjust your tone. Okay. Okay, this is the slide preparation. Yeah, we're talking about slides. What are the things that you need to be in your slide? Okay. Normally, as we have said, they're gonna have one slide. One static slide only, not so much. And then what need to be put in your slide? Okay, again, the sentence, if you read here, so your slide should support listening, not compete with it. Because why? Because again, this is not a conference presentation. You're not going to put all inside your slide. Okay, your slide is just supplementing your presentation. It's like I think you'll be knowing this better. You're from education. If you're being a teacher, you have this so-called learning aids, right? I mean things that in Malay is like bahan bantu mengajar ke whatever. So those are the slides. Those are the intention of the slide. It's just aiding the presentation is not. Is not the focal point of the whole presentation. Means you're not going to put all things inside. Okay. So if you see the slide, just use like one visual idea and then 3 to 10 words of orientation. No need long words and then very technical words. Okay. And you need to think of visuals that carries the attention of the public. Okay. And then avoid tiny plots. Okay. I've seen a presentation who have very tiny words. Okay. It's very hard to read also. And then please do not have anything you need to apologize on the stage. Okay, apology is total no-no. Okay, do not apologize on stage. On the stage. For example, you say, I'm sorry, my slide is small. So that's a total no-no. Okay. Okay, I show to you the slides that I have done at the national level last year. This is the slide I have presented for the national level competition last year. Okay, so I put the picture of myself. If you want to know, my baby face picture last time during the childhood, and now already different. Okay, but this time is like a baby. I want to do an analogy about baby sign. Okay, so there's a picture of myself. So people will be intrigued, right? So those are the things that you can create the curiosity. Why my face is there? Why is that baby sign? And what is the significance of our baby sign? So even my title is also friendly kind of title. Let the baby sun shine around us steadily, fairly, and sustainably. So the point is that I want to my point of research is that the sun, we can utilize the sun by having the energy generated steadily, fairly, and sustainably. Okay, and the energy trilemma is actually my theoretical framework. But then, although it might sound very technical here, but I've explained it in a very friendly layman manner. Number one, steady and sufficient power. Number two, no one left behind. Number three, cleaner earth. That's why I say, if you want to develop solar energy from the sun, you make it fair for everybody. So my presentation is saying, look at Teletubbies, right? They can enjoy fairly from the sun, living happily ever after in the Teletubbies land. Why? Because the sun is fair for everybody. Everybody is sharing the same benefit. So it's like that way of how you presented it. So I'm showing to you the sample, actual sample from myself in the past. Okay. So the keywords, the key takeaways is that do not put everything in. And if you want to put something in, all right, make sure the wordings is friendly to non-specialists. Okay. All right. Next one. Okay. Transforming jargons to legal, simple legal terms. Okay. So this is, I'm just pointing out the samples. Okay. I hope later on the organizer will share the slides to you, and I'm very happy to share the slides also. Okay. Translating research into audience language is one of the tips. For example, metagenomic characterization of antimicrobial resistant determinants in wastewater. So you turn it, okay, I know you are from education, so these are from sciences. Okay, you turn it into audience-friendly framing. What our viewers can tell us about the next superbug, okay? Because the research may involve, investigation. This is actual research. You can Google this journal paper online. So one of the research is that they think that when we have our, when we go to toilet, everything goes into the sewer. So they think that they might have something indicators that we can learn from the sewers. Okay, because we release something that the waste. Okay, so from the waste itself we can learn. Maybe there have bacteria which can create another bacteria in future. So those are the things that we learn that we can learn in this research. But turn it into audience friendly. And then how to make cheaper solar cells survive the summer heat. So those are, the public know already. So those are the things that you can think of. And then next part is searching for your hook. As I said, hook is important. The moment you fail to find your hook, you fail entirely. Na'udzubillah, entirely the presentation. The hook is important. So hook can be in several versions. Hook can be by question. So I searched some of the education type of examples. Okay, hook can be by way of question. Maybe you start your presentation, you say, what makes one classroom inspiring and another one discouraging? So it's like, wow, okay, it's something that people would think of. Or maybe it can be hooked by relating with daily life. Okay, maybe if you see the example, behind every exam result is a story that numbers alone cannot tell. So people will really, yeah, it's true, because behind my exam, there will be struggle, there will be even not relating to academics. Okay. Number 3 is hooked by imagination. This is very common, in fact, in the national level. Okay. You can say, imagine 2 students sitting in the same classroom, listening to the same lesson, but experiencing education in completely different ways. So it's like something that people can visualize. Or maybe hooked by contrast, you put irony. Okay. Education promises opportunity, but opportunity is not experienced equally. All right. So next one is hooked by bold statement. You are making bold statement. Not all students fail because they lack ability. Maybe there are other factors that influence the success of the students. Okay. And in fact, other than this, also they have another kind of hook. As I said just now, one presenter start with boom, sounds effect. All right. You are not allowed to make music, all right? To do music while presenting, you're not allowed to sing, but you are allowed to make sound effect, boom or something, whatever. So that is a form of other hooks as well. Okay, next is delivery of the presentation. This is a picture of myself. Okay, so delivery or now we are talking about delivery. Okay, delivery. Okay, just confirming with the organizer, we still have the time, right? Until 10:40, is it? If I see the tentative.
Yeah, brother, you can go 10 or 15 more minutes.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. Okay. Next one is delivery of the presentation. Okay, now you learned already about the content of the presentation. We have seen what need to be put into your content, and then you have seen what tips to raise up curiosity. Okay, now we just want to check the way of how you present. Okay, you need to ensure the delivery feels very human, right? Not robotic. This is one of the, I would say, most common mistake also in presenting 3-minute thesis, because some of the presenters, they really script stricken, meaning to say they are very strict. They are really bound by the script. Okay. Again, my advice is that the script is there just to guide you, not to, not for you to strictly abide by the script. Okay. And somehow or other, you can see from the presentation that this presenter is merely describing the script, or merely reading out from the script. So you don't want that kind of presentation. You want something that is very natural, something that is very friendly, okay, something that is not feels robotic. In fact, judges also can notice, and I've heard like some of the judges commenting the presentation, because after every presentation, they will have judges comment. So I heard like some of the comment is like, oh, your presentation is very scripted, because they know, because it's influence. So you need to ensure it's very friendly, natural. Okay. On the stage, aim for this habit. Start strongly and avoid apology. Do not say, I'm sorry. Do not start your presentation. I'm sorry, I'm a bit nervous. No. Right? Do not make impression to others that you are not confident. And then very pace volume. Look at people, not the floor. Okay, you look into the people. Okay, for me, I have my own targets. I have 3 targets: left, middle, left, middle, and right. So throughout my presentation, I will look my eye contact through all these points. Okay, do not see the floor, do not see the roof. Okay, do not see the floor, the roof. Okay, do not see the human. See the make eye contact. Use gestures reasonably. Okay, your hands is there for you to do something. Okay, so do it reasonably. Do not do it too much. And then another one in red, please also consider stage presence. The stage is very wide. You don't static at one place. Walk around. Okay, but my advice is that do not walk too much, because it's gonna seem like you are nervous. Okay, walk just maybe at 3 points: at left, middle, and right. Okay, and then memorize the beats. Okay, know which one you go higher, which one you go tone down a bit. Okay, finish a little early in rehearsal. Okay, for me, as I said, I practice about 2 minutes 50 seconds, and then that should be the threshold. Do not because that's the lesson learned. Because previously I practiced about 3 minutes. That's a very total red flag. Because in actual presentation, you're gonna have some gaps and all that, so it might extend your time. So again, remember, overtime means disqualification. Okay, and have a good posture. Okay, stand upright. Do not slouch. Slouch means downright posture. No, it's not good. And appropriate facial expression. If you can smile, but if there is like some sad parts, you make sad faces. So do it accordingly. Okay, next. important part, okay, is the grandmother test. Okay, so you practice. While you are practicing, make sure you you use this grandmother test. Whether if you think whether your presentation, if you explain to your grandmother also understands. Okay, so that is the tips I gained from my coaches, and in fact at the national level also applying the same tips. Okay, so for example, if you put all the psychosocial determinants, blah blah blah, people won't understand. If you pass grandmother test, the sentence will be, my research looks at why some students feel left out in school and then how that affects the learning. So it's something that people can understand. Okay, and then common mistakes. Okay, okay, there's like some slides left, but no worries, it's just a sample. I've given you a lot of samples just now. In fact, my samples, this is just additional samples. Okay, common mistakes. One, jargon. Lessen up the jargon. Lessen up those technical terms. Okay, the audience will get lost if you talk very, if you are engineering, you talk very engineering term. No. All right. Number two is method dump. You explain it very, PhD, very PhD student. You look into like PhD student explaining to PhD student. No, you explain it in a very friendly manner. And then number three is crowded slide. That's like the slide is jumble up everything all together. Racing the clock, meaning to say you are very fast. No, okay, this maintain the pace. Weak ending. Weak ending means it's like boring ending, something that people would is not memorable. Think of good intro and good ending. Okay, and then the last one is low visible energy. Okay, meaning to say the voice is low. Okay, you're not energetic. Seems like you're not passionate of explaining. Okay, so these are merely practicing plan. Okay, you can prepare, but again, I would summarize. Okay, my tips is that if you're practicing, if you will ask me, brother, how many times you practice before you join community thesis competition? My answer would be, I have no answer because it always depends on yourself. Okay, and then my answer is that you are going to practice several times until you find that there is no flaws. Okay, until you find that there is no mistake in your presentation. That is the time where you stop your practicing. And in fact, I practice 100 times in one day. If you ask me, because why? Because the moment I find mistake, I repeat it again. The moment I find mistake, I repeat it again and again until my presentation is flawless. Okay. Okay, these are 3-minute title and opening. You can, if later on, if the organizer share it to you, then you can see my sample. In fact, I've already shared to you some of the samples earlier. Okay, you can change the title and then the opening must be a hook. Okay, and we have seen some of the example of the hooks. Okay, and then the slides also, I've shown you also my sample of the slide, something visual that grab the attention. That should be the majority part of the slide. Okay, words are very minimal. Okay, do not put everything inside. Okay, another sample. Okay, you can see it with yourself. Okay, but I've given you these samples earlier. But the key points is that tone down the presentation. Okay, do not use technical terms, but rather you use very friendly terms and it is very clear. Methodology also. For example, here they say by testing different soils and plastic level. You use a very friendly terms. We're not going to say what is the type of test you use. Okay. Okay, before we end, 3 technical aspects. One is time management. Key takeaways for today. If you're presenting, manage your time well. At least you finish 250 seconds. That is my tips. Have that buffer time. Okay, if finish earlier doesn't deduct you any marks. All right, finish over time can disqualify you. And number two is practice makes perfect. For me, in the past, I watched a lot of 3-minute thesis videos so that I gain, oh, this is my style. Oh, this is my approach. Okay, number three is, this is where people forgot because we learn about script, we learn about presenting, okay, but we forgot about these technical things. Okay, before you present, number one is check your microphone. Okay, now, okay, I know the time is already out, sorry. Okay, but we're gonna have like one simple one last point. Okay, check the microphone so that you know microphone is working. At the national level, I frankly speaking, I tell you, last time at the national level, they have some technical problems. Some presenter in the middle of their presentation, they have problem with mics. So that give a negative impression already. So by right, you should check your mic before you present. Number two is that check at the backdrop, they have projected your slide already or not. Okay? Because why? I tell you, last time at the national level, why the presenter is very much passionate, dah tak sabar, very enthusiastic in presenting, they don't realize the slide is not projecting. So it's give a bad impression already because you don't know, you are just yourself. There is no visual aids right behind. And then last one, of course, as a Muslim, as a participant from the International Islamic University, do not forget our dua. Okay, and this is the every time before presentation, I always read this. If you ask me what is the dua, is the simple dua that we have learned. Okay, Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. So that is the dua I keep repeating even up to the national level. So that you ask Allah to release all the time in your tongue so that it will be easy for you to present, and yafqahu qawli, so that the audience will also understand. Okay. Okay, final checklist. Okay, before we end, final checklist. Okay, I know the time is already running out. Okay, takeaways for today. Make sure your presentation is making sense to non-specialists, layman. You have the slides, you have the script. The script is following the rubrics and the components we have discussed just now. And then one sentence takeaway, you make something memorable for the people to take away even after your presentation. And emergency kit, you know what to cut if timing slips on the day. For example, because on the stage, you would see the time. You would see the screen, the timing screen. Okay, if you see, oh, the time is already 2:50, you know what to cut down. Okay, in your script, you know, okay, this is not important. Is this? I mean, everything in your script must be important, but you know already. Okay, which one I can cut down. Okay, if emergency. Okay, during the presentation. So before you walk on the stage, look up, maintain eye contact, trust yourself, do not be nervous. Okay, although if you have some nervous, it's okay, but trust yourself and read the dua as I teach you, and then finish with energy and let the close line. Meaning to say, keep the impacts there. Okay, again, you're not defending a thesis, but you are inviting people to care about your thesis. And with that, thank you so much. Sorry to extend the organizer's time from the plan. All right, thank you so much. All right, I pass the floor back to the brother Hafizur Rahman.
Okay, thank you, brother. No problem. We were really enjoying your session.
Alhamdulillah.
Thank you very much. It was really insightful and engaging. And I'm sure that everybody has benefited from your
Alhamdulillah.
valuable sharing. So now we'll move on to the Q&A session. So if I'm sure participants have many queries and questions. So dear participants, if you have any question, you can either raise your hand or you can just, open your mic and ask our brother. And you can, if you are not comfortable in speaking, you can write on the chat box, I think. Yes, brother Ihsan.
Okay. Brother Ihsan, is this event only for a finished thesis? Okay, the answer is no, not necessarily. Okay, I've joined even now. I'm still in my
Am I audible?
yes, yes. Okay. Do you hear my voice?
Yeah, brother, it's clear.
Okay, okay. So I read your
So-
question. Yeah. Okay.
So
Thank
before
you very
brother
much for
Ihsan asks his question, brother Nabiqul is answering one of the questions given in the chat box, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
Oh, this is
you
from
finish
Brother
that fast.
Haris. Okay.
Yeah, brother Haris.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so Brother Haris is asking, is this event for a finished thesis? The answer is no, not necessarily, because I'm also in the midst of doing my thesis. I'm in my third year of doing my thesis. And if you remember, if you recall, I've told you that I've joined this for the first time in 2024. In 2024 is just the time where I just passed my proposal defense. Okay, so my presentation is all about my proposal of research. So you can actually present the presentation that you have done can be about your proposal. Okay, and it can be about any chapters in your PhD thesis as long as it's related to your PhD research. It's not necessarily you have completed everything and then then you presented. No, okay, you presented what have you find so far. Okay, all right, maybe you can proceed with Brother Ihsan.
Yeah, brother
Yeah.
Ihsan, please.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Salam. Yeah.
Thank you very much for your presentation and your
Yes.
whatever. I actually asked you, what do you see the challenge in this 3-minute presentation as per your own experience, as well as how many slides you have to suggest to should be presented in this 3 minutes presentation? Of course, time is limited and it's one of the main factor. However, your suggested slides, how many like intro, like research subject, question or something, blah blah. So your suggested slide, how many and what kind of subject is concluded over there? Thank you very much.
Okay, mean to say how many slides is it?
Yeah. And,
Okay,
and
so
the content and the table of content, which content you have to suggest to insert slide.
Okay. So, okay, thank you for the question. Okay, maybe I can revert back to the slides I have presented. Okay, so the slide is actually only one slide, only one static slide at the back already. So you're not going to change to 3 slides because it's only one slide at the back. Okay, and the slides is not it's just merely a helping device for you for your presentation. The important one is your presentation. Everything, the research, everything about the research subject, the research objective, methodology, findings, everything you are going to present it verbally, orally. But the slides is just, you don't put the information there. It's just a device to visualize the presentation. You put all the diagrams there. But then you don't put the title research objective, you don't put the title research question, findings, everything in the slide. You don't put in the slide. It's just a visual, a one visual slide at the back. Everything is you done verbally. Okay, for example, I show you the example of my slide last time I've presented during the competition. It's just like this. Like this is my only one slide. Okay, I don't have any other slide. I just only have one slide because the rule is that you only have one slide. And then one slide is very visual, all right? It's visually engaging. And then if you see my slides, I just put like my main idea, the main topic, and then the main idea of the research, and then some of the visuals, diagrams here. You can see like the Teletubbies, you can see like my own face, childhood face. Okay, so it's not that as I said, it's not a research conference presentation. You don't put research objective, you don't put the research methodology inside the slide. The slide is only just a visual visual aid, okay, for your presentation. Okay, but the content of your presentation, to answer your question on your content, is all in your oral presentation, which is we have discussed here, which is you need to explain about the research gap. 20 seconds to 45 seconds, explain about research gap. And then explain about the methodology, explain about the key result. Remember, only key result, not all result. And then explain about the implication and the significance of the research. So those are about the content. Is it answering your question?
All right, thank you very much for your
All right, thank you. Thank you for the questions. Okay. Maybe we can see the comments back, right?
Yeah.
Okay, from Sister Ursula. Okay, I'd like to ask, how can we simplify complex research without using its academic value? Okay, this is I would say, very hard question. Even me myself, I have to figure out by myself. Okay, and then okay, some tips I was using is that just use you can just Google. And now we have AIs and whatnot. Maybe at first, okay, we can go through the practicing steps. Okay, so the preparation plan, if you see here, okay, this is like my own preparation plan. Okay, now if day one, you write an ugly first version first. Okay, you write down your script in a very rough, ugly manner. Okay, you don't care about just put all the ideas inside first. And then after that, you read it again and again, you try to present. While you are presenting, okay, so this is, I don't have a theory of how to answer your question, but then from practical sense, I gain this skill while presenting, because when you are presenting, oh, this term may not be suitable if we talk. If we explain it orally, maybe we can change it to other terms. Changing it to other terms, you can use some helpful tools. For me, I use some thesaurus online. Okay, you type that word, and then the thesaurus would suggest you, okay, these are other words. Or you think, oh, this is like simple layman terms. Or maybe you can just use AI. All right, but then you have to recheck back. Okay, do not trust AI 100%. You need to verify. Okay, whether is it suitable, because you are the one who do the research. Is it suitable for you to use this word or not? But then again, I understand your concern without losing academic value. Yes, I agree with that. But the point is that you are merely changing the words, but you're not changing the content. So that is the thing that you need to put at the back of the mind. Okay, the words may differ, the words can be toned down, but the content is still there. How to ensure it? It depends on you, because you are the one who do research. Okay, for me, my research is about solar laws. So I ensure I still explain about the law, the gist of the law. But then my wordings is different. If I were to present at my own Kulliyyah, those who have law background, I would talk all the legal jargons there, all the content of the law. But then, for 3 minutes, I still talking about the law, but the way of how you explain it, you tone down the wording. Okay, use thesaurus. Okay, check with the thesaurus. Maybe you can have other different wordings to use, but you are talking about the same thing. Okay, am I answering your question? Okay. Okay, maybe next question. For the coaching, is there any contact number or specific team to coach those interested to join 3MT? Okay. For me, okay, coaches. Coaches. For me, last time when I was when I have been qualified for the national rounds, the coaches from IIUM was 2%. With 2%, one is Dr. Azuar. You can Google Dr. Noor Azuar from Human Science, And number two, the second person is Dr. Pamilia, Dr. Pam, Dr. Pamilia, also from Human Science. Okay, Dr. Pam and Dr. Azura is both, I mean, I learned a lot from them. Okay, I salute them so much. Dr. Pam is previously also a winner at the national level, right, representing IIUM back then. So she went to Australia, all right, for the international round competition. So I learned a lot. Even if you recall, I said to you my script changes is because of them. Okay, and because of them also, I managed to get first runner up, Alhamdulillah, at the national level. Okay, Dr. Azura is good in terms of pitching presentation. Both of them are from HS. Okay, all right. Lagi, okay. I think okay. Maybe Fatiha. Okay. How we can ensure that we really present the gist that reflects of all of our thesis content. Okay. How you can ensure that you really present all the gist of your content. Okay. That's also, I think, quite similar with Ursula's question, but then this is a mere safeguarding the content so that you won't be haywire. Okay, my thesis is that that's why we are talking. Okay, we go back to the important components, important ingredients of your presentation. Okay, after I did my script, okay, if you have your script already, make sure you do an anatomy. Okay, I think you have learned anatomy in school. Okay, anatomy is like when you learn biology, you know, oh, this is lung, this is heart. Okay, you did your anatomy, but now you're going to do anatomy for your script. Okay, after you do all the script already, number two is that practice with the script. While you are practicing, you know there are some wordings that maybe you yourself would understand, but the public won't be understand. Okay, then my advice to the question just now is that you can use those thesaurus, those AI to help you in identifying what is the appropriate wording to use. Okay, and then after that, you do the anatomy as I said. From the script, you identify, okay, this line is about problem statement. This line is about the methodology. This line is about the findings. Which one? And then after you read it, okay, whether every line, your script encompasses all these components or not. Whether you have your research gap already, whether you have hook already or not, whether you have the key result, whether you have implication, whether you have those impactful, memorable ending. Okay, you do the anatomy in your script. So that is my personal experience. I do the anatomy. From the script, I dissect. Okay, this is problem statement. This is methodology. So those important parts is the one that I point it out very clearly. There are certain points which I raise up my voice during the presentation so that to indicate I'm presenting about findings. I'm presenting about my suggestions. Okay, so inshallah, if you do all the anatomy, dissecting all the important components, inshallah everything is good enough for 3-minute thesis presentation already. Okay, make sure everything in. And make sure every words that you are in your overall script is using the same, is using a friendly term. Okay, it may, you don't change the content, you change the wording. Okay, always remember. Okay, the content is there, but the wording you use. Okay, am I answering the question? Okay, all right. So I think there's no more question, right, Brother Hafiz?
Yeah.
I pass the floor back to you.
Okay.
But thank you so much. Thank you so much for very I mean, for the audience today, for posing a lot of very good questions. Okay.
If anyone doesn't have any more question, we can move on, I think. Okay. Okay, so we are kind of at the end of the session. So anyway, we want to go with a photography session now. So
Okay.
I would like to ask our participants to turn your videos on, if possible. We would like to take some screenshot for our social medias and everything.
Okay, so I stop sharing. Okay.
Yep. Thank you. I'm giving 1 minute, please, if you need in preparation. Okay, it's not mandatory, but would like to have more participants to join in the video session. Okay, I think is it. We'll wait more or we'll take it. Okay, everybody. Just a minute. Okay, in my count 3, okay? Smile, 1, 2, 3. My camera is off. What's wrong with me? I mean, just a minute. Oh, it says my camera is not working. Okay, apologies for the inconvenience. I think my camera will not work. Okay. Let's take yours. 1. Okay, again, smile, please. 1, 2, 3. And other page. Okay. Thank you, everybody. So as we come to the end of today's workshop, I'd like to again sincerely thank our trainer, Brother Nabiqul, for delivering such a beneficial and inspiring session. And all the participants for your time, attention, and active participation. Before we conclude, I would like to inform you that a feedback form will be shared in the group. So we kindly request everyone to fill it up, as your feedback is very important for us to improve future programs. And KEPSA will be continuing to organize more workshops and sessions related to your academic journey. So we encourage all of you to actively join and participate in these programs, inshallah. So we hope this session has helped you gain confidence and clarity in preparing for your upcoming 3-minute thesis competition. May Allah put barakah in the knowledge we have gained and allow us to benefit from it. Jazakumullahu khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamualaikum. Thank you, everyone. All the best. All the very best, inshallah.
Thank you, brother.